Hey, what's up? It's GC Kinsey, here to take y'all behind the scenes of one of my cosplay music videos. Last year, I made a behind-the-scenes video about how I shoot my vlogs, and I thought it might be fun to do the same thing for my cosplay music videos. I started making cosplay music videos because for years none of my cosplay friends knew I was also a musician, and I was tired of those two passions existing in entirely separate realms of my life. So I thought, what better way to combine them? And I debuted my very first cosplay music video as Frankenfurter singing I'm Going Home from the Rocky Horror Picture Show in 2020. That was actually the first video I posted to this channel. In fact, cosplay music videos were the whole reason I started this channel. And even though I've expanded into other areas like tutorials or vlogging about queer stuff or tracking my singing voice changes on testosterone, cosplay music videos are still my favorite kind of video to make, even though I don't have time to make them as often as I wish I did. But when I made my latest one, I had my iPhone rolling in the background the whole time, capturing the process so I could share it with all of you. That video featured Xichen and Guangyao from the Untamed singing The Night We Met by Lord Huron and Phoebe Bridgers, and I chose that one to go behind the scenes because it's a duet and those always require an extra level of planning and work. So, let's dive in, shall we? Starting with the first part of the process, the audio. Like most music videos, my cosplay music videos don't actually involve singing live on set. They involve singing to a pre-recorded audio track. So that's what I always make first. In general, I start by recording the instrumental track and editing that together and then adding the vocals. For a few videos where I needed to get the vocals done quickly for scheduling purposes, I recorded those along with the original track and then built my own instrumental track around them later, which is definitely not my favorite approach because it means I'm locked into the same tempo and general arrangement as the original song, but it does work in a pinch. What I like better though is coming up with my own instrumental arrangement and recording that first, then layering the vocals on top, which is the approach I'm taking for this cosplay music video. I'm starting at the keyboard where I'm laying down a piano track that serves as the backbone of the song. Then when I'm done, I edit my piano takes together. And by the way, my approach for recording any music, instrumental, or vocal is to record several takes of the entire song and then make a composite of the best parts. I only punch in specific lines or parts of the song if I didn't quite get them during the full takes, or if there's some sort of musical accent that doesn't require a full take in the first place. So on this song, once I had that main piano track done, I went back to the keyboard to add a few other things like some piano grace notes and a bass line, and I edited all of that together as well, and now I'm ready to add my next instrument, the acoustic guitar. Unlike my keyboard, which is a software instrument that plugs directly into the computer, my guitar requires an open-air microphone, and I use the same Rode condenser mic for that as I use to record vocals. So for this guitar track, I'm listening to the edited keyboard track through my headphones and playing along with that into the mic. Then when that's done, I make a composite edit from all my guitar takes, make a final pass through all the instruments to balance out the levels for a good mix, and now I have my fully edited instrumental track, which means it's time for my favorite part, the vocals. For duets, I like to record one character's part first, usually whichever character sings the melody, and then edit all of that together before I record the other character's part. That way I can match the phrasing and timing of the breaths and all of that in the harmony to the first character's melody. In this song, Xichen not only has the melody but also sings an entire verse by himself before Guangyao comes in with the harmony. So I'm definitely recording Xichen's part first. I am not the only traveler who has not repaid his debt. I've been searching for a trail to follow again. Take me back to the night we met. And once those vocals are fully recorded and edited, then I'm coming back in to record Jin Guangyao's harmony. And then I can tell myself what the hell I'm supposed to do. And then I can tell myself not to ride along with you. Once I finished editing Jin Guangyao's vocals, I'm making a final pass through the whole song, vocals and instrumentals and all, to make sure it's well balanced and well mixed. And full disclosure, I am not a producer or a sound engineer by any means. I'm just a singer who's had to learn enough about sound mixing and editing to get songs out the door. So my approach is very much DIY and FAFO. But I will offer one piece of advice from my very limited experience with all of this. Don't just listen to your audio through one set of speakers before you export your final mix. Listen to it with headphones and earbuds, listen to it open air, listen to it on terrible speakers like your phone or your laptop, and on more powerful speakers like your TV or your car. Because you never know how your audience is going to listen to it, and you want it to sound as good as possible across a wide variety of speakers. So that's why I test it across multiple speakers and keep adjusting it until I'm satisfied. Anyway, now that I am satisfied with this particular audio track, now it's time to move on to the next part, the video. Filming a duet cosplay music video is always a whole weekend-long affair because I only have the energy to film one character in a single day. It's easiest to do this on holiday weekends when I have the Monday off, that way I get an extra day of sleep before I need to be back at work. But for this cosplay music video, I didn't get so lucky. I had to film it on a regular weekend. That's because there was one specific weekend when I knew I would have to get this film to fit it into the rest of my schedule, and I was still working on both costumes in the week leading up to that weekend. So basically it was like I was con crunching, but for a music video shoot instead of a con. Before I film a cosplay music video, I like to storyboard it first. When I first started making these, I did pretty much zero pre-planning, but that only made the filming and editing process harder than it needed to be. So now I go in with a list of all the shots I want to get and all the backgrounds I want to sub in for the green screen, and it helps me know exactly how to set my lights and camera angles. And that kind of planning is especially important for duets shot in front of a green screen. The split screen duets I used to make before I got my green screen were a lot more simple, but now I have so much more flexibility in how I can make the characters interact, which is awesome, but it does require a lot more planning up front. For this music video, I planned out 4 main settings. One with Xichen sitting with Jin Guangyao's hat and mourning him, which I would shoot in front of a plain black background with stark white lighting. One with Xichen singing to Jin Guangyao in his memory, and Jin Guangyao fading in and out of it like a ghost, which I would shoot in front of that same black background with blue and gold lighting, aka their ship colors. One flashback setting to the burning of the cloud recesses, which I would shoot in front of the green screen with red-orange lighting to match a background with trees on fire. And finally, a series of flashback snippets of our boys being cute and happy together, which I would shoot in front of the green screen and then sub in various backgrounds. With all that in mind, I found some royalty-free background stock footage that worked, and then got the studio set up for filming. And by studio, I mean my garage with my camera and lights and background where my car is usually parked, so now y'all are about to find out exactly how unglamorous my filming process is. I've got my black backdrop, which is just an old bed sheet, layered over my green screen so I can easily take it off when I'm done with it, and it's uplit by some color-changing lawn lights, which I have staked not into my lawn, but into a styrofoam box instead. So those lights are in blue right now because this is Xichen's memory setting, and I've got my side lights set up in gold. That's another lawn light with the stake wedged down into a mic stand. There's a white box light for my main light, which as you can see is super bright to look into. And this head with a wig on a microphone stand is what I call my focus friend. I set it to my exact height and put it where I'm going to stand, and I mark the floor with a piece of tape to make sure I'm always standing in the right place. So now I can frame my shot and focus the camera on where I'm going to be before I start shooting. Once I have the studio set up, it's time to get into costume. And I've hung up the costumes for both characters in my living room to make it easier to get dressed each day for filming. These costumes have a lot of pieces and parts, so laying them out like this just helps me stay organized. Just like when I recorded the audio, I'm starting with Xichen for recording the video. That's because he has more lines to sing, so his part of the shoot will take longer. And on the Saturday of my shooting weekend, I have more flexibility to stay up late for that. So I'm shellacking down my hairline with gel to keep it out of the way of my lace front wig. Securing my wig cap and putting on my anti-slip band. Getting into makeup. Starting the first layer of wig glue on my hairline. Putting on the under layers of my costume. Adding the second layer of wig glue. Putting on the outer layers of my costume. Putting on the wig, which is the most stressful part. Especially when it comes to that forehead ribbon the Lan Clan wears. This is all much easier at cons with friends who can help, by the way, but when I shoot a video, it's just me, myself, and I, unfortunately. Now I'm just giving the wig a final pass through with the comb, and it's go time. Back out in the studio/garage, I have my music queued up on my laptop so I can sing along with my audio track. And off to the side, I have a mirror and some tissue so I can check my face for sweat between takes. I've also got some water over there for hydration and some contact solution, which I'll be using as tears later during the shoot because when I actually cry, it's not pretty. I've also got a fan on the floor just out of frame so I don't collapse from the heat while I'm filming. And I have my camera monitor flipped around so I can see what I'm filming. I start by adjusting the framing and focus of my camera one more time. So the monitor is swung outward toward me, and I'm looking into it to frame the shot around my focus friend behind me. Then I press the record button, go over to the laptop to start my music, or really more like 20 to 30 seconds of whatever song comes before my music in iTunes so I have time to get in place. Switch places with my focus friend. Look at the camera monitor to adjust my costume one last time. Get ready for my cue, and then start performing. I am not the only traveler who has not repaid his debt. And even though the final audio will come from my pre-recorded track, I actually do sing on set while I'm filming because that looks way more realistic on camera than lip syncing. When I'm done with my take, I stop the music. Stop the camera, and then rinse and repeat over and over and over until I have all the footage I need. I like to do 3 to 4 takes of each camera angle I shoot, and I could shoot anywhere from 6 to 12 camera angles of every setting I planned in my storyboard. That's just to make sure I have plenty of material to work with for editing. But because I only have one camera, that means I'm going to be singing that song more times in a row than I can count. I am so glad I never get sick of songs I love, and so lucky that I don't share walls with any of my neighbors. Once I finished filming the main part of the song, which is the Xichen's memory setting, now I'm ready to film all the other settings. I've restaged and relit the studio to get the clips of Xichen crying over Guangyao's hat, and now I'm using the contact solution as tears and putting on my best sad boy face. Then I'm getting the cloud recesses on fire clips after disheveling my wig and adding some blood and bruises to my makeup. And your eyes were filled with tears when you had not touched me yet. And that's a wrap for day 1. Now it's time to get some rest before I wake up and do it all again tomorrow as Guangyao. So, it's Sunday morning, and I'm gelling my hairline back down, getting into makeup, laying down the wig glue, getting into my costume and wig, and making a few adjustments to my lights for these cloud recesses burning clips. Once I've filmed that part of the song, I can transform from Guangyao to Guangyao by adding the outer robes, putting the Jin Clan Cinnabar mole onto my forehead, and of course wearing the hat. And then it's back to the studio to get all the rest of the footage. And then I can tell myself what the hell I'm supposed to do. I had all and then most of you, some and now none of you. Take me back to the night we met. So now that I'm done, that's a wrap on the whole video shoot, which means it's time for the third and final part of the process, the editing. I edit my cosplay music videos in 2 phases. First, I watch all the clips and decide which ones I'm going to use. And this is where duets get tricky because I'm not just looking for my best clips overall, I'm looking for my best clips that pair well together. I also have to consider the balance of camera angles and the visual interest that provides. So I'm looking for that ideal combination of camera angles and in-character performances that will give me the most engaging final video. I do use my storyboards to help me pick out clips, but a lot of my final choices are just based on vibes. And it's really fun, actually. It kind of feels like putting together a puzzle. Once I've decided which clips I'm going to use, I open Adobe Premiere and start cutting them together. And I am very lucky that I get an Adobe Creative Suite license through my day job because I could never justify the cost of that subscription otherwise. So Premiere is where I not only match the clips to the music, but also put in fades to transition between clips, replace my green screen with actual backgrounds, color correct the footage, and crop and frame everything strategically, especially when both characters are on screen together. Xichen is taller than Guangyao, so the mix of camera angles and eye lines during filming, plus cropping and framing during editing, helps to give me that height difference with myself on screen that obviously doesn't exist in real life. Once I'm happy with the final edit, I export the video file, upload it to YouTube, and share it with all of you, and that is how my cosplay music videos happen from start to finish. I hope y'all have enjoyed this behind the scenes look at these videos as much as I enjoy making them. If I ever film another duet where the characters have long flowing robes and waist-length wigs, will I bite the bullet and hire an assistant for my filming weekend? Probably. But I love this whole process so much. I love combining all the things I'm most passionate about, music and cosplay and videography and gay shipping, into one big creative vision that I get to share with the world. So no matter how much work it is, the end result will always be worth it. And I will always keep making these cosplay music videos. If you have any questions or thoughts about my process, or songs you'd like me to make characters sing, please feel free to leave those in the comments. You can also reach out to me on other social media. I'm GC Kinsey across all platforms. While you're here, please make sure to check out the cosplay music video you just saw me film. And I've got a whole playlist full of other ones, along with a bunch more cool stuff on the channel like makeup and wig styling tutorials, vlogs about my experiences as a queer person, a lot of music and resources for singers about voice changes on testosterone, and more. So make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything new. And with that, thank you so much for joining me on this little adventure, and I will see you on the next one.